national icon, a young guy, younger than many of us. Traore has changed the price of uranium. France was buying uranium from Burkina Faso for $1 billion every year. He stopped the French to buy his uranium. Today, Burkina Faso is making 85 billion from the same resource. We are selling uranium here. We have no nuclear power. We are just talking everything is.
President Ibrahim Traore, the president of Africa. King Ibrahim Traore, the king of Africa. One love, one Africa.
What's up, Africa? What's up, world? Now, this is the Eye of Africa. This is where we give you topics that are talking about Africa, are talking about the black people, you know. And the video I'm going to talk about today is about the leaders of Africa are lining behind Ibrahim Traore. And we are getting more support for our king, for our leader. We are getting more and more supporters from our leader. And there is this parliament, they were discussing on matters concerning how to build, and the solutions they were giving out, it's the same solution that Ibrahim Traore is trying to give out, that we should fight for Africa, like we should not be depending to the West. We are a nation, or we are a continent that can provide everything for itself. We have gold, we have copper, we have everything, we can grow. But why are we importing some goods? Why? It's because we are depending on these Western powers. They have made us to depend on them in everything, and that's why we find it difficult to say no to the neo-colonization. That's why we find it difficult to send them away. But Ibrahim Traore was easy to send the French away from Burkina Faso. Mali was easy to send the French away from Mali, and some leaders are lining up to do the same. Now, before we go down deep into that, I want you to watch this clip from Botswana Parliament, if I'm not wrong, and then we'll come back here and talk about it.
We appreciate that a revolution does not go on for an inordinate amount of time. If it is truly a revolution, it must be convulsive in many respects. Because if it is truly a revolution, it has to be compressed in time and concentrated in target. We have to set ourselves time frames, and we have to move from words spoken, examples enacted, into transformative action, concrete deliverables that affect the lives and living conditions of everyday people. Those are the people we are here about, not ourselves, those people. We need to bring down barriers, boundaries, and barricades. We need to enable these people to trade with and amongst each other. We need to facilitate them in those endeavors. We therefore must build for them the requisite infrastructure, the digital infrastructure that is so desperately needed to take these amenities straight to them. We have begun to lay the foundations. COMESA, EAC, SADC, tripartite free trade area, now the African continental free trade area, must become markers and references of this epic journey, this revolution that seeks to transform lives, empower people, real people. And so we are here today to declare our commitment to this cause. I know my brother, the President of the Republic of Zambia, is an able foot soldier in this revolution. I join you too. I call upon others across the African continent, those who sit at the highest echelons of leadership in their countries, to transcend words, move to action.
The Bretton Woods system, as we know them today, changes in the Union of the Soviet Socialist Republics, this one is a major change. Yes, we can complain about ARVs not being paid for by other taxpayers outside Africa. Yes, we can complain about development assistance shrinking. I actually think that this is a wake-up call to Africa, that we've been doing things wrongly for too many years, waiting for someone to do mundane things for us. We must do those things ourselves. An ordinary coin has two sides. Yes, there's disruption coming through. Let's flip the coin on the other side. And that's where we think we in Africa must pay particular attention. The side of opportunity. Like coerced opportunity, but it's an opportunity. A great one for that matter. Why are we the continent that trades the least with itself? Why are we the continent shipping beef from other continents meant for consumption next door to Zambia? But there's beef in Zambia. Very nice beef. I can say so competently. Why are we buying wheat from continents outside of Africa when Africa has almost 2/3 of the arable land available, and with ability to use that 1 hectare to produce at least 2 crops a year through irrigation? Why is it like that? This is what this change is injecting into us. Consciously, we got used to having cornflakes on the breakfast table, flown into our countries, and then driven onto the supermarkets, and we walk there, we are consuming. For this country, Zambians like saying, no, we don't like GMOs. I said, but what are they talking about? At breakfast, they had cornflakes, which are GMOs from another country. You travel outside of this country, any hotel you go, you are eating this stuff. But we basically create resistance to increase production in our own country, and countries, if I may say so. And we are happy to spend billions, if not trillions, importing things that we can get from Botswana. As you heard my Minister of Commerce, by the way, it's an instruction this president has given to what we are calling now positive discrimination in the procurement process. Buy from manufacturers here, buy from producers in Botswana, Namibia, South Africa. I must say, President Boko, when I put this in my first year in office. We're now 3 years and a half plus some months. It was a struggle. Even my own cabinet members said, why are you favoring certain producers because they're Zambians? It's very simple. Because they employ Zambians, because they pay taxes here, which tax money we need to fund our free education and the constituency development plan. But these are things people don't accept easily because they are tuned to see things in a different way. That which comes out of Africa is better than what is produced on the continent. And today we can proudly say we produce our own fertilizer
and ensure that we translate this Africa Free Trade Agreement into a platform for meaningful empowerment and transformation of the lives of our people. I conclude on a note that acknowledges the deep economic ties, the binds and bonds that connect Botswana and Zambia, the affinities of culture, language, the relationships that we've had and will continue to have, and which we augment and deepen. And I hope my presence here today establishes that relationship is inviolable. That relationship is strong, that it will endure well into the future. And I thank the people of Zambia for the hospitality they have extended since I came, the indulgence that they have granted by yielding on their busy roads so I could make my way here. I acknowledge it with utmost humility. And to all of you here today, thank you. Thank you so very much for the privilege of your company here and the pleasure of your kind attention. Thank you.
Welcome back. That's amazing. I'm now seeing fresh mind of leaders. I'm now seeing leaders who are talking our mind, the mind of the youths, because as we know, youths always want radical change. We don't want the colonial mind change, that you are building something for 4 years. If it's a road, just build it immediately. If it's a hospital, a facility, infrastructure, do it. Do it. You know, but the current regimes in Africa, we are doing things in a slow way. We take like 40 years to do one thing. We are like the real Israelites. They took 40 years to go from Egypt to Canaan, and yet it's a journey that can even take 4 days or a week, if I'm not wrong. So I'm now starting to see leaders with fresh minds, leaders who are supporting what is right, and this right is Ibrahim Traore. Now, this parliament of Botswana, there is a president called Dumaboko, and Dumaboko has said that he's gonna do what Traore is doing, because Traore makes it easier. He dream, he wakes up, and he put a law. So Dumaboko has said that he wanna do that, and by doing that, he have to get leaders in the parliament that will support his motive. Now, when I see in parliament, some people like this are talking about how to make Africa great by using our own, I know that we are going on the right place and we are moving on the right direction. The right direction is to Africa to depend on itself. I know it will be hard to change, because changing from depending from other people to your own dependable, or depending on yourself, it is hard. It's just like you are staying in your home, you have your parents, all of them, and then when you reach 18 years or when you're out of school, they are telling you just go to the city, find yourself. The first months or the first years, it will be hard. But if you focus and if you know what you want, it will be easy for you to maneuver. So Africa, it will be easy for us to maneuver if we unite as African countries. As we know, AU or African Union does not speak the mind of Africans, and we have seen even Ibrahim Traore is like against AU. AU is against Ibrahim Traore, because Ibrahim Traore or AU is representing the colonial, the masters. AU is working for the masters, and that is what we don't want. We want to depend on our own self, and by depending on our own self, we need to find ways so that we can build our country from scratch, with our own soil, with our own ballast, with our own sand, with our own bricks, with our own nails, with our own mabati, our iron sheets. We have to build our country with our own things. When you are building a house, if you are depending from your neighbor to get the construction materials, okay, your neighbors will say yes, for example. One neighbor will give you iron sheets. Another neighbor will give you nails. Another neighbor will give you bricks. Another neighbor will give you sand. The only thing you will have, it's that land you are building. That is yours. But after building this house, these neighbors, they allowed to easily access in your house anyhow. If you don't accept them to come and access in your shamba or in your land, the left neighbor will take his iron sheets. If you don't allow them to come and just, you are there, your chicken has, or your cows has given birth, the right neighbor comes and take one calf, the other one comes and take chicken. You don't have to say anything, because they are the one who are helping you to survive, to breathe in that house. But when you build something from scratch, your own findings, your own struggle, it is so good on that, because you have that freedom, you have that mind to talk. No one can boggle you, no one can tell you shit, because you own that, fully own. So African leaders who are waking up and lining behind Ibrahim Traore, supporting his narrative, rhetorics, and his motive, his agenda, we are saying thank you, and we will support you as the people of Africa, because we want to support what is good. And as you know right now, the youths are more on this. We have more youths who are watching. So if you are working and you make the youths happy, that means you will be there for long. So you cannot be a dictator and you are not doing something good for the people. Like other leaders, Ugandan leader, if I have to say, dictator, but the people are not happy. But if you are there at the seat in 20 years and you are doing things perfect, you have built the country for the people, let me tell you, man, you go very far. So the thing we want is support. We want African leaders to unite, to support each other, to talk at each other. Let's create a bloc. Stay away from AU. Stay away from East African Community. Stay away from SADC. Stay away from ECOWAS. Let's build another one. Let's form a Sahel. Let's form an African-owned organizations. Because this organization we are seeing, AU, ECOWAS, and everything, it is not African-owned. These organizations, they are like cars. They are like cars, and us, we are passengers sitting on a car that is stolen. And this car is being stolen by the white supremacy, by the Western powers, and we are just there, sitting there. The leaders of Africa are sitting in these AU cars, a stolen car, trying to make the agenda of the supremacy come to pass. So we need to disband. We need to dismantle all these organization and build a one united organization for African leaders or African people only. And that's what Muammar Gaddafi wanted. That's what Thomas Sankara wanted. That's what Lumumba wanted. But they were eliminated because they wanted to run away from the colonizer. They wanted to run their own show. They did not want to run a show that is owned by someone else. And that's what we need to do. So as African leaders, when I see you championing for the right, when I see you having these brains and these minds to work better, when I see you talking about African building itself with the African things, when I see you talking about we are importing things at expensive but we can get them cheap here, That's what I'm talking about. Because Ibrahim Traore is doing all this and is doing this and the people are happy. Now, tell me in the comment section, what do you think? Until next episode, peace out.